What up, y'all? I'm back with another episode of Post-Cut Clarity, and I'm fresh out the shop today. This is where I share my unique thoughts and perspectives leaving the barbershop about our culture, but specifically how it relates to our experiences in the working world, corporate world, or even if you're an entrepreneur. Having worked in talent for the last 12 plus years, whether if it was hiring, retaining, or strategy, it's just given me this very unique and diverse perspective. So before we get into everything, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content around career tips as well, because this is where I'm going to be dropping that information. So that being said, let me kick out some clarity. All right, story time. About 10 years ago, I was wrapping up final interviews for this company in downtown Chicago. For me, it seemed like the perfect job. You got a chance to wear a suit every day. It was in the city. Coworkers were going to happy hours after work. I got a chance to meet new clients, build relationships. But I'll never forget when I was in my final round and they were just about to make me the offer. I was really excited too. The director gave me the offer and said, in order for you to take this job, you have to cut all your facial hair. And at this time, I had a beard and a little goatee as well too. But I was at this pivotal moment where I get a chance to do something new in my career, but then also felt like I was losing a huge part of my identity. I felt weird. I felt super awkward in my bare skin. I was terrified of what other people were honestly going to think of me. And I've had facial hair since the 8th grade. So for me to let all of it go was a weird feeling that I didn't really know how to accept. But I saw the offer, I saw the number, and at that time, I signed it. I cut it. And honestly, going into my first day of work, I felt all those things that I described. But over the years, I always think about this story because there's so much to learn and so much to unpack. So, of course, I'm always going to touch on 3 lessons. Takeaway number 1, making decisions alone. I remember going to my pops, who is pretty much fresh off the boat Nigerian, and I talked to him about this situation. And honestly, he looked at me so damn silly for even bringing this to his concern. He pretty much told me to just go and cut my hair as if it was a waste of gas that I even drove to have this conversation with him. Even though I built up all this courage to go talk to him, and the way he shut me down, it actually just made me feel like I shouldn't talk to anyone about this. I definitely wasn't about to go to the homies about this because I was going to just get flamed. And this was back when group traps had just started, so I would have been a topic for conversation for far too long. I actually ended up doing it. And when I did it, I felt really uncomfortable. And I remember I was living alone at the time. And when I did it, I waited till the very last moment to do it. I did it right before I went into work. And looking back on it, I don't know if that was actually the best idea. In that specific scenario and just thinking through that, my advice to myself would have been stop giving a what people think about you. I wish I would have just let the jokes come early. I wish I would have cut that shit 2 weeks ahead of time, went out, let people see me and what my new skin was gonna be, so that way when I went into work, I actually just felt normal and comfortable. Starting a new job, for some reason, because I was in this uncomfortable space, it was always at the top of my mind of what other people were thinking or what they thought I looked like. But I noticed though, over time, once it became normalized and I started having success, no one really even brought it up or even cared. Takeaway number 2, find your community. After killing in a role for a few months, there was still a slight part of me that still cared about the fact that I was barefaced. Honestly, I felt crazy. And on the weekends, I still just couldn't get over the fact that I literally had no hair on my face at all. But one of the things I did was I found people that looked like me, black, and being able to talk to them about my experience, it was surprising to find out that they all had the exact same experience I did. And that let me know that I really wasn't alone. While I went through this journey alone at the beginning, it was nice to have people who understood where I was coming from. And whether it was during a random coffee chat, a happy hour, it just felt good to have people that I can laugh, joke with, and just come together about the exact same experience. My advice, build your community. Build a community. Sometimes new communities can help you in ways that your old communities unfortunately can't. Sometimes new communities can relate to experiences that you've been through, then old communities can't. And honestly, there is nothing wrong with that. I know sometimes it's cool to say no new friends, but that's a lie. It's healthy to meet new people, especially as you're going through life and you're going through experiences. That way you have people that you can lean on to go through it as well. And last but not least, takeaway number 3, negotiate a deal. After I built up my community, I realized my community actually turned into my support. Their support helped me leverage making change. I went up to the director, that same director that made me the offer and told me to cut my hair, and I told him if I double my productivity, I should be able to cut my hair on Monday and allow it to grow in through the week. When I explained to him the reason why I wanted to do that was at least and I get my weekends to have some sort of facial hair. My facial hair can grow in a week, so for me that worked out as a decent deal. For him, he actually saw the deal in a few positive ways as well. He saw that it was going to produce more productivity for me, which meant more business, and then more productivity for me would also produce more productivity for my peers around me, which would mean more competition in the office, which would mean more business for him. One caveat to this deal though was we both agreed that we wouldn't tell anyone about it. On Monday, when I showed up to work, first thing in the morning, I cut my hair. I would not cut my hair Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday for that matter. A few things started to happen. It became a thing where people would see, hey, Dino isn't cutting his facial hair during the week. Why is he not getting in trouble? And when people would come to me, the first thing I would say is, my production is really high. And right now, I feel like that's all that is important. I say that to say, sometimes in situations, try to be creative. You'll be surprised at what people will say yes to versus in your head what you're already thinking they're going to say no to. I quickly realized forcing people to cut their hair was not company policy, but more just a cultural norm. I also wasn't willing to die on the sword and make bad relationships. I still wanted the job and the opportunity, so I had to just get creative. Again, cutting my beard off was not one of my happiest moments, but it did teach me a lot of lessons growing up. So again, the 3 takeaways that I mentioned. First, don't make decisions alone. 2, build community. And 3, get creative. I'm trying to give y'all this game for free 99. Peace.